Right now, you are looking at your life and wishing something would change. Maybe it's the number in your bank account. Maybe it's your physical fitness, your career, or the relationship you see in the mirror. But here is a hard truth most people ignore. Your current circumstances are not a reflection of your potential. They are simply a lagging measure of your past habits. Think about it. Your bank account is a lagging measure of your financial habits. Your physical fitness is a lagging measure of your training habits. Your knowledge is a lagging measure of your reading and learning habits. You do not get the results today from what you do today. You get the results today from what you did 6 months, a year, or even 2 years ago. According to data reports on digital behavior, the average internet user now spends 6 hours and 40 minutes online every single day. A massive chunk of that is mindless scrolling on mobile phones. That is a habit, and that habit is quietly shaping a trajectory. Morgan Housel, the best-selling author of The Psychology of Money, wrote a sentence that everyone should write down. Doing well with money has little to do with how smart you are and a lot to do with how you behave. The same applies to your entire life. If you are feeling anxious, stressed, or stuck today, the problem is not a lack of talent. It is not that you are lazy. The problem is your system. Today we are going to look at the practical science of behavior change, inspired by the research of James Clear, whose book Atomic Habits has sold over 25 million copies worldwide. We will break down 5 keys that will shift you from passive waiting to active building. Because procrastinating on something important is choosing to delay a better future. Let's stop delaying. Every year, millions of people set goals. They want to lose 30 pounds, make $100,000, or write a book. But here's the question. If both the winners and the losers have the exact same goals, then the goal itself cannot be the thing that makes you win. Every runner in a race wants to win. Every job applicant wants the job. The difference lies in their systems. W. Edwards Deming, a legendary engineer and management consultant who helped rebuild Japan's industry after World War II, famously said, "A bad system will beat a good person every time." If you have a goal to clean your room but you keep your messy habits, you will end up with a clean room for one day. Within 48 hours, the mess is back because you did not change the system that created it. So, what is a system? A system is simply a collection of daily habits that are all oriented toward the same outcome. Think about personal finance. If your goal is to save $10,000 this year, but you rely on willpower to transfer money at the end of every month, you will fail. The system is broken. But if you set up an automated system where 10% of your paycheck is automatically routed to a high-yield savings account the second it hits your bank before you ever see it, you have built a system. You no longer need willpower. The system handles the heavy lifting. Bill Gates, the co-founder of Microsoft, once observed, "We always overestimate the change that will occur in the next 2 years and underestimate the change that will occur in the next 10. Goals focus on the short-term finish line. Systems focus on the long-term trajectory. Stop focusing on the score. Start focusing on the gears. Let's look at the math. It sounds like a generic self-help slogan to say, get 1% better every day. But the mathematics of compounding shows us something else entirely. If you can find a way to improve by just 1% every day for a year, the math looks like this. 1.01 to the power of 365. By the end of the year, you will be 37.7 times better than when you started. But if you get 1% worse every day, the equation is 0.99 to the power of 365. You compound yourself almost all the way down to zero. Albert Einstein reportedly called compound interest the 8th wonder of the world, saying, "He who understands it earns it, he who doesn't pays it." This does not just apply to money in a bank, it applies to your habits. To understand how this looks in real life, we have to look at how James Clear discovered this rule. As a high school student, he was struck directly between the eyes by a flying baseball bat in a freak accident. The impact shattered both eye sockets, broke his nose, and fractured the bone behind his nose deep inside his skull. He was rushed to the hospital, placed in a medically induced coma, and struggled to breathe on his own. When he was finally released from the hospital, the road back was brutal. He had double vision for weeks. He couldn't drive a car for 9 months. When he started physical therapy, he had to practice basic motor patterns like walking in a straight line. He didn't ask for that setback. But in that moment of recovery, he was forced to start small. He couldn't go out and play a full game of baseball. He could only focus on doing one exercise correctly at physical therapy. He could only focus on studying for 1 hour. He could only focus on getting 1% better. It took 5 years of tiny, quiet, almost invisible daily improvements. But by his senior year in college, he was named team captain and selected as an academic All-American. Progress is a long, slow arc. On any given day, a 1% improvement feels completely insignificant. Reading for 10 minutes today does not make you a genius. Going for a 15-minute walk doesn't make you fit. But over 5 years, those tiny daily choices draw the line between a completely different version of you. When you are stressed about a major problem, it is easy to get paralyzed. You sit on the couch, ruminate, and run through every worst-case scenario. The problem gets bigger and heavier in your head. But the research is clear. Action relieves anxiety. The moment you take one small step toward a solution, the fear begins to fade. Why? Because you are finally influencing the outcome. You are moving from a passive victim to an active participant. However, many people get trapped in a subtle form of procrastination that feels like work. It is the difference between motion and action. Let's define this clearly. Motion is when you are planning, strategizing, and researching. You are looking up the best workout routines. You are designing a logo for a business you want to start. You are reading reviews of productivity apps. Motion is useful, but it has a dark side. It allows you to feel like you are getting things done without the risk of failure. You can research business ideas all day long, but you will never sign a client that way. Action, on the other hand, is the behavior that will directly deliver an outcome. Writing one page of your book is action. Making a cold call to a prospect is action. Doing 5 squats is action. Why do we spend so much time in motion instead of action? Because action invites judgment. Action has a clear result. You either succeed or you fail. Motion feels safe. Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, built a global empire by prioritizing action. In his letter to shareholders, he wrote about making Type 1 and Type 2 decisions, urging his team to make decisions with only 70% of the information they wish they had. If you wait for 90%, you are moving too slow. If you are stuck in anxiety, ask yourself, am I in motion or am I taking action? Seneca, the ancient philosopher, wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Stop imagining the obstacles. Take one physical action. One of the biggest mistakes people make when building a new habit is trying to make it perfect from day one. They decide to start running, so they buy $300 worth of gear, sign up for a marathon, and plan to run 6 miles every morning. By day 4, they are exhausted, sore, and quit. The rule you must follow is this: you must standardize before you can optimize. A habit must be established before it can be improved. If you cannot master the simple art of showing up, you have no foundation to build upon. This is where we look at the story of a reader named Mitch who lost over 100 pounds and kept it off for more than a decade. When Mitch first started going to the gym, he had a strict rule for himself. He was not allowed to stay for longer than 5 minutes. He would drive to the gym, walk inside, exercise for 4 minutes, get back in his car, and drive home. It sounds ridiculous, right? Most people would say he was wasting his time. But Mitch was doing something brilliant. He was mastering the protocol of showing up. He was becoming the type of person who goes to the gym 4 times a week. Once the identity and the routine were locked in, physical improvement was easy. He could simply add 10 minutes, then 20, then 30. This leads to a powerful daily operating rule. Reduce the scope, but stick to the schedule. There will be days when your schedule blows up. You plan to do a 45-minute workout, but you only have 10 minutes. The average person says, "Well, I don't have time today, I'll just skip it." But skipping it is a mistake. In the long run, the bad days matter more than the good days. Showing up on a bad day, even if you only do 5 minutes of stretching or 1 set of squats, keeps the habit alive. It maintains the neural pathway, it prevents a zero. And as long as you avoid the zeros, compound interest will keep working for you. We like to tell ourselves that we care about certain things. We say our health is a priority. We say building a business is a priority. We say spending time with family is a priority. But if we want true self-awareness, we need to run what is called the alien test. Imagine an alien comes down from space and follows you around all day. It cannot speak your language, so it has no idea what your intentions are. It cannot hear your excuses or your plans for next week. It can only observe your physical actions. At the end of the week, if the alien had to write a report on what your priorities are, based strictly on how you spent your hours, what would that report say? Would it say you prioritize screen time and scrolling over building your future? Would it say you prioritize temporary comfort over physical health? The alien doesn't care about your excuses. It only records the data. It is a brutal level set, but it forces us to align our actual actions with our stated values. However, as you build these habits, you must also give yourself permission to adapt. Your life is not a flat line. It moves through seasons. Maybe you are in a season of intense career growth, which means you have less time for long workouts. Maybe you just had a baby, which means your sleep habits have to shift. Maybe you are recovering from an injury or dealing with an aging parent. Many people fail because they try to force-fit old habits into a new season of life. When they can't run their old routine, they feel like they failed and quit entirely. When your season shifts, your habits must shift too. Ask yourself, what season am I in right now? And what am I currently optimizing for? Is it wealth? Is it family? Is it health? Adjust the system to fit the environment. Let us bring this full circle. If you want to change your trajectory, there are 2 time frames that matter more than any others: 10 years and 1 hour. 10 years is shorthand for the big vision. What do you actually want your life to look like in a decade? Where do you want to live? What kind of financial security do you want to build? 1 hour is shorthand for immediate action. What can you do in the next hour that contributes to that 10-year vision? Never let a day pass without doing something small that benefits you in a decade. You do not need to wait 10 years to see the results. If you commit to shifting your daily systems, you will look back in 12 to 18 months and be absolutely shocked by how far you have come. The secret to winning is simply knowing how to handle the daily process. Do not leave your future to chance. Choose one key from this video, just one. Standardize it, make it small, automate it if you can, and take action on it before you go to sleep tonight. Your future self is waiting. Start building it now. If you found value in this, hit the subscribe button and join us as we get slightly better, day by day. I'll see you in the next video.